This episode of Hero Club is supported by our good friends over at Mage Hand Press. Check them out at magehandpress.com and be sure to buy their masterpiece supplement for Dungeons & Dragons in space, Dark Matter. Use the promo code RIFTRATS, all one word, for 15% off. If you like Hero Club, remember to rate and review on your preferred platform and tell your friends. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to Hero Club. I'm Nick Williams.
And I am George Primavera.
George and I have been playing D&D together for years.
Now, a lot of people think you need to be a big, huge nerd boy to play Dungeons & Dragons.
But in reality, you just have to be willing to spend 4 hours of your own time on a weekday trashed on cheap beer cross-legged around a coffee table.
I lost a game of Flip Cup in 2012, so I had to buy all the books and learn how to be Dungeon Master. My dad was disappointed.
Yeah, he was. But after a game or two, we realized that it's actually a really fun and effective way to tell an awesome story.
Yeah, it's like long-form improv, but you kill more people.
Here's what you need to know. George creates a world and the framework for a cool story.
And the players, like Nick, create characters beforehand, all with special abilities, sometimes magical, sometimes not, and they adventure through the story as best they can, trying not to die.
We, the players, roll dice to see if our improvised actions fail or succeed, trying to beat a number in George's head that he promises he doesn't change at will.
But at the table, I am God, my game, my rules.
Okay, so it's as nerdy as you thought. You know what? Just f*** off, man.
Whoa,
Right off,
all right,
okay?
Nick, maybe don't tell everybody to F off. And it's not that nerdy. I mean, we get rid of all that stupid math, and we add music and sound effects and stuff like that, so, you know, it's cool.
Anyway, these stories do follow a linear plot, so if you want to know what's going on, start at the beginning of any season you like and have fun with it.
Without further ado,
welcome to Hero Club! Yeah!
it's early morning in the abandoned town square of Sweetboro. The Knights of Yuletide warm themselves by a tall, roaring fire. The newly thawed Sir Orin shivers at the fire's edge, his feet still frozen in separate blocks of ice. Sir Dane and Lady Holly stoke the fire while Adele sits with Poppy on her lap. He is covered in snow and visibly agitated, shivering. The sun is still new, but it warms your cheeks as it peeks over the tree line.
Sir Orin the Peaceful stands at 7 feet and change. His bulbous frame so large that he's almost as wide as he is tall. With one gargantuan trash can lid hand, he holds the ham hock, which he continues to eat. The other one is extended out towards the fire, trying to keep warm. His enormous frame is made even larger by a red and green gilded antler helm and an enormous unkempt beard, tied together in places by twine and bristling with holly.
So, little one, what is your name? You did not introduce yourself. By the way, I am Sir Orin the Peaceful. I would offer you a large hug, but you'll have to come to me because, you see, my feet are still unthawed, as of yet.
She looks up at him, her brow furrowed a little. My name's Adele Little, and this is my possum, Poppy.
With his free hand, Sir Orin reaches down to a large pine cone-shaped flail at his side and grasps the hilt, the end of which begins to glow slightly.
Hello, Poppy. It is nice to meet an opossum. I don't find very many of you because I'm often out during the day. Yes, of course I can speak directly to you. That is the property of my magical weapon here.
Very haphazardly, Orin pulls the flail out and begins to spin it around himself.
Ha 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 ha! This is nature's mercy. It allows me to speak to animals such as yourself. No, I didn't mean anything bad by animal. That's just what you are, correct? We're all animals here. Yes, I guess. Some more than others.
And Orin looks down at his unkempt beard, embarrassed.
Poppy looks back up into Adele's eyes and hisses quietly.
I know, but they're not so bad.
My story is very simple and short. You see, I had heard of a tree that had been felled in the woods, the eldest tree in the forest, and it was being used by the people of the town as the Christmas tree in the center of the town square. But they had not replanted a replacement tree. so I was going to give the mayor a piece of my mind. I am Sir Orin the Peaceful, and I was giving him a piece of my... Yes, pun was intended. So I get there to have a nice, casual conversation with this mayor to tell him my concerns about his policy. But lo and behold, a greed troll was absconding with every member of the entire town. And I thought, not on Christmas, not on Sir Orin's watch. So I hunted him, following behind, as stealthily as I could, hiding behind as many large boulders and trees as I could find. Don't laugh, there are many in this region my size. And I followed him all the way up the mountain. And you see, the snow was falling heavily at this point, and I hadn't eaten in nigh on an hour. And the footsteps, they just stopped suddenly in the snow. And in its place was a large wooden box with a stick. I thought, what an odd contraption! So I inspected it further. And to my delight and wonderment, what do I find beneath the box but a ham hock, pre-seasoned and cooked to my liking. So naturally I got inside of the box. And as soon as I sunk my teeth into that sweet, sweet ham hock, Sir Orin pauses to take another large bite of ham hock. I don't remember anything else, and I woke up here in this ice cube. With you, my brother, and my sister, and you, little Adele, Christmas warrior. But enough about me, how did you all meet?
Well, let me just stop you there. I'm not a Christmas warrior, whatever you say. I don't even like Christmas.
But what? Lady Holly, Sir Dane, did you know of this unliking of Christmas?
Calm yourself, Brother Orin. We've known. And it has hurt us as much as it is hurting you now. But there are things more pressing. At the moment, once we get your little toesy-woesies out of that ice cube, we have to go after that wizard. Now, seeing as you've already made the entire journey without us, which we will talk about later, brother, maybe you could point us in the right direction.
So what happened was, she came trotting up to us in the forest all lost and scared, and she was looking for people and she found us. And we were like, we're looking for our friend, because he abandoned us. Again.
Not abandoned, caught in a diabolical ham hock trap. Sir Orin looks off in the distance as if contemplating how one man could be so evil.
Sister Holly, remember, Brother Orin meant well. As do we all. We mean well. But see, Adele, you're not the only one who cares about the forests. I told you our friend, odd though he may be, cares just as much as you do. Christmas doesn't seem so bad now, does it?
Adele hugs Poppy a little closer to her chest and looks away.
Hey, language now!
Right, so if we're gonna find Grumpelinus the Harsh, we're gonna have to know where he is. Did you happen to find a cave or anything on that mountain when you were looking up, or just focused on him?
Well, I can't say I've ever met a Grumpelinus, but I did see a spirally spooky-ooky house in the shape of a wizard's face.
Well, that sounds about perfectly vain, just as him.
Yes! Just the theatrics Grumpelinus revels in. You see, Brother Orin, this is a man of flair. I dare say he loves the festivities of Christmas more than anyone else. We just have to thaw his frozen heart.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge. I like it.
Yes, a Christmas challenge. I love it. We shall leave post-haste. Completely forgetting that his feet are frozen blocks of ice, Sir Orin sets off down the cobblestones, making little headway. Onward to Christmas victory!
Adele, feeling a little overwhelmed by all of this, looks in the opposite direction, contemplating if she should sneak away.
Holly starts to walk after Sir Orin, but with a mild curiosity turns around, noticing that Adele hasn't started following. You're coming with us, aren't you, lassie?
I just don't know if I can do this whole Christmas thing.
I figured that might be a problem for you. But not everyone's going to believe the same things or have the same opinions. So in order for you to come with us, maybe don't think of it as a Christmas mission, but you could think of it as a just basic human rights, really, saving people that have been captured. Just doing good. You're a good person.
Adele thinks about this for a moment and then says, I'll do it for the trees.
Fair point. They talk way less.
Having heard none of that, Sir Dane comes riding in majestically atop Noel, his white stallion. Ha ha! Climb aboard, Adele Little. You'll be a holiday hero yet. And he flashes a giant smile.
Adele shoots Holly a quick glance. Is it okay if I ride Goosey?
Of course it is. She'd kind of be offended if you didn't.
Sir Dane smiles even wider, his teeth gleaming in the sunlight. He turns and leads Noelle down the path. It's okay, boy. Our feelings are not hurt. They're not hurt.
The spectral goose wanders out from behind one of the houses, scoops Adele up with its long neck, hoisting her aboard, and begins to waddle down the path, picking itself up into a small glide. The group heads up the trail leading up the mountain, but very quickly everybody overtakes Sir Orin, who is still dragging his ice block feet.
Blast that wizard with his infernal magic! Not only did he turn my favorite thing other than Christmas against me, ham, but he also trapped my toesy woesies in this prison of ice and frost.
Orin takes out his flail and smashes at his feet, trying to break up the ice.
Roll an attack.
20.
Roll damage.
8.
The ice shatters apart.
Haha, jolly good!
Sir Orin looks around and notices that everyone has called their steeds.
Well, I suppose it is a long journey, and I have done it once already tonight.
Orin puts 2 of his giant meaty fingers into his mouth and whistles loudly. Exploding out of a nearby patch of trees is an enormous spectral moose.
Ah, Beth! There you are, my girl!
Sir Orin trudges over and throws his giant arms around her neck, giving her a tight hug before swinging on to her saddleless back and catching up with the rest of the group.
And the group heads up the trail leading up the mountain. The climb is very gentle at first, but then grows a bit steeper. The pine trees protrude from the face of the mountain at a bit of an angle, and the ground becomes treacherous, forcing you to move a bit more slowly and carefully. Hours of walking later, as the path turns along the mountain's face, Sir Orin gets out in front and proudly gestures forward around the corner.
Ah, yes, up this pass is a little town called Pineville.
As Orin actually turns to look at where the pass is supposed to be, he realizes the path is gone. Wind whistles along the sheer cliff's edge. Hundreds of feet forward, the path resumes. A light mist obscures the ground below, which makes everyone realize that they must already be quite high.
But I could have sworn there was a path here just hours ago.
Suddenly, the mist lurches forward as if disturbed from within, and jettisoning out of the haze aboard a swirling seat of clouds is Grumpelinus the Harsh.
It's me, Grumpelinus the Harsh.
Ah, there he is, Sir Orin. The wizard who refuses to admit that he just loves the holidays so much.
I do not love the holidays. I hate them.
This is him? Sir, I did not get to thank you for that delicious ham hock.
Sir Orin plots over to the edge of the cliff and extends a giant hand.
Grumpelinus is still a few hundred feet away.
Sir Orin holds.
Grumpelinus, as though he's right within arm's reach of Sir Orin, recoils from the extended hand.
Spare me the hollow gratitude, you gargantuan oaf. I am here to issue a final warning. Turn around and leave until the holidays pass. Do this, and I shall return the child's townspeople to her, unspoiled.
Adele draws her bow and points it at Grumpelinus. I think I've had enough of you, Mr. Grump.
You think you can deter me with a plaything, girl?
Adele looses the arrow. 21.
Roll damage.
7.
Grumpelinus, waving his hand dismissively, is surprised by an arrow that passes directly through the palm of his left hand.
Ow! My second favorite hand! Ow, 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 ow.
Grumpelinus waves his right hand over his left hand.
Chilligerate!
A glove of ice forms over Grumpelinus's wounded hand.
I'll deal with that later. Still, it does not matter, foolish girl. If you cannot imperialize, the only way up to the top of the mountain is via a secret path that only I know, and I shan't tell you.
Where is it?
Roll a persuasion check.
23.
I just said I shan't tell you. What, do you think I'm just going to give away my secret passage that goes through the middle of the mountain to anybody who asks?
Holly winks at him. Thank you kindly.
Wait, what? Blast! Curse you knights! I will have my revenge!
And Grumpelinus whisks away, disappearing downward into the mist.
I will have my revenge!
suppose I should have asked him where the entrance to the secret mountain tunnel was. But still, we know it's inside, so that knocks out the outside.
Everybody roll a perception check.
12.
15.
12.
20.
Adele is the only person who spots the entrance to the inside of the mountain. Looking down into the chasm, peering through the mist that Grumpelinus's wake has thinned, you see the enormous cavernous entrance. The path to the hole is quite steep and dangerous, however, and it appears to be about 50 feet down the side of the mountain.
Guys, I think I found Mr. Grump's hidey hole. It's super steep.
Yes. It's going to be tricky getting down. You might want to clamber onto my back. I do a lot of this sort of thing, wandering through nature, planting trees and the like.
Oh no, I don't think I need that. These woods are basically my backyard.
Well, then let me go down first. I would at least like to forge a path for my new nature friend. Sir Orin dismounts his moose mount and begins the climb.
Roll an athletics check.
19.
Sir Orin easily scales downward and soon reaches the narrow ledge just outside the entrance to this cave.
Down here, I found the entrance. Just follow the path I made with my big body.
Right, on my way. And Holly begins to follow Sir Orin down the path.
Roll an athletics check.
24.
Holly makes it down uncharacteristically gracefully.
You know, even though it's a secret tunnel, I still imagined it to have a bit more grandiose an entrance. Seeing who he is and all.
You're right, it is very plain.
Not one picture of him or secret carving or his beard somewhere.
No pedantry at all.
And no ham for you.
You're right.
Sir Dane dismounts Noel and calmly goes to pat his face. Now, Noel, I know we hate to be apart, but you'll be with me soon enough. You know you're no good coming down this mountain, but once I get on flat land, you and I will be back together again. All right? All right.
He said, be careful, you're not very good at climbing.
And I told you never to talk to my horse!
So sorry.
I know what you said. You said, I'll miss you, Sir Dane. And I say, I love you, Noel.
Oh, Poppy, I hate this. In a move they've done many times, Adele places Poppy on her chest, and he fastens himself to her. It'll be fine, just tuck in your tail.
Make an acrobatics check.
21. Adele does a cartwheel off the edge. She grabs onto the handholds and swings between the natural cracks in the rocks like monkey bars. With a flip and a roll, she lands on the narrow edge. Now that wasn't so bad now, Poppy, was it?
That was incredible! I've never seen such natural displays of ability. I'm jealous, but also just very happy I was able to see it, really. Bravo, and to you too, Poppy, for not letting go. Holly nudges Sir Orin. Right, did he just say thanks?
Sir Orin makes sideways eye contact with Adele. Yes.
Well, then you're welcome.
Back up on top of the ledge.
And goodbye. Now for the most impressive feat of climbing you'll ever see today.
Roll an athletics check.
21.
Sir Dane is just about to step off into his doom before his horse nudges him to the right a little bit, showing him a much easier path down. And he heads down very efficiently, the horse visibly rolling its eyes.
Sir Dane lands. A breeze blows his hair back. He dramatically looks back up to Noel and blows a kiss. Daddy loves you!
And the five head into the cave. The cave itself is dark and narrow, but the temperature has gotten a bit more comfortable, just above freezing. The icy stalactites drip periodically from the ceiling. And after a short time, the party comes out into a shockingly large space. A natural stone cathedral in the center of the peak. The top of this mountain is completely hollow. The floor of this room appears polished smooth, though filthy, and upon a second look, you can see a complicated series of ropes, pulleys, and beams in the space just below the ceiling, with buttons, levers, and knobs all over the walls. Little holes in the mountain let the sunlight into the interior, which is bounced around by a hodgepodge of mirrors hanging from yet more rope. Along the floor are closed wardrobes and an enormous table laden with decadent food, apparently freshly prepared. The scent is divine. And then, with a zipping sound, descending quickly from the ceiling is a short, hunched figure that gracefully lands onto the stone with one knee on the ground, and then stands up, looks at the party, and says,
Who goes there? What do you want?
What a feast! You did not have to prepare such a beautiful bounty for us, humble strangers in your home.
This is not for you.
But I don't see anyone else here, and we are your guests.
Guests?
Brother Orin, as lovely as that might be, we are here very uninvited.
Excuse me, miss. Pardon my gigantic friends, but do you know how we get out of this tunnel?
Silence, trespassers. You have stepped into the home of the Toymaker. Tremble in fear at my might.
The creature steps forward into the light, revealing a 2.5-foot tall purple goblin who carries a toy wooden mallet.
Fear me!
She swings the mallet around recklessly. Well, I don't know about not invited. Grumpelinus pretty much told us how to get here.
Nonsense!
No, I literally asked, where's the tunnel? And he's like, check the mountain. And we did, and here we are.
That doesn't sound right.
I know, but here we are.
And did you say Toymaker? Ha ha ha! We are the Knights of Yuletide, and if you are a Toymaker as you say, we should be natural allies. I'm Sir Dane the Good. Sir Dane extends a hand for a handshake.
The Toymaker swings her mallet, trying to send him back against the wall.
You dare attack me in my own home?
Sir Dane pulls his hand back. Whoa, 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 what? Whoa, whoa, what?
Grumpelinus was right about you guys, barging into where you're not wanted.
What'd he offer you if you stop us?
Gifts! All the gifts! Feast your eyes upon my gifts!
The little goblin runs to the wall, presses 3 buttons in a row, and a few ropes begin to move within the pulley system. Suddenly, all of the doors of the wardrobes blast open, revealing rows and rows of little figurines. Figurines of little townspeople dressed in eclectic sleeping attire.
Behold, I am the Toymaker!
Oh, that's not what I thought you meant by gifts. But they're very lovely.
What are we gonna do? Immediately, Adele identifies one of the dolls in the front row as her best friend Lilia. She goes over to grab it.
No!
The Toymaker swings her mallet, trying to get Adele away from the doll. 16.
Bringing her down to 39 points of health.
Oh, you little troll!
I am not a troll. I am the Toymaker! Now back off!
The little goblin puts the mallet down, holding it like a walking cane, reaches on her back, and unsheaths a gorgeous-looking sparkly wand.
Behold, another one of the many gifts bestowed upon me by Grumpelinus. This is what gives me the powers of the Toymaker. I can turn anything into a toy, even you.
She swings the wand at Adele, trying to get her to back up.
I'm not afraid of you. And Adele throws Poppy at her.
Poppy sails toward the little goblin and connects, scratching the goblin's face.
With whatever composure she has left, the Toymaker attempts to connect the wand with Poppy.
Poppy, crawling all over the little gremlin's torso, leaps off, just barely avoiding the wand's touch. The Toymaker backs up to the wall, grabs one of the ropes, and says,
Oh, I forgot to mention one little detail. Not only can I turn things into toys, I can bring toys to life!
She pulls 2 levers, and 2 hidden stone doors begin to sink into the ground. 2 enormous wooden knights creak and step forward, each at least 10 feet tall. They're both painted a different shade of silver. One holds an enormous club, and another claps together comically large hands.
Oh, that magic is reserved for Santa himself!
You will always regret crossing the Toymaker!
The Toymaker grabs hold of a rope nearby, cuts it loose, and flies up as the rope pulls her along.
I am the Toymaker!
The 2 knights lumber forward carefully, taking up defensive stances on either side of the food-filled table.
Sir Dane draws the Sword of Cheer, holds it high into the air. By Santa's beard, toys are for children! And casts Bless on Adele, Holly, and Orin.
Adele, Orin, and Holly will now have a bonus on their rolls.
Adele turns around and attempts to climb the many ropes on the wall.
Roll an athletics check.
13.
Adele gets a good couple of handholds and starts to make her way up.
Sir Orin pulls the flail and lets the heavy pinecone head of it hit the floor with a thud. He then reaches behind him and pulls out an enormous tower shield, roughly the size of him, and charges forward.
What depraved use of natural resources is this? I shall turn you back into the wood from whence you came.
And Sir Orin takes 2 giant swings with his flail at the club-wielding knight. 12, 15.
The wooden knight easily parries Sir Orin's blows.
Dane, I'll leave handsy to you. I'm gonna go after the club one. And rushing to go help Sir Orin, Holly brings out her spear and attempts to hit it twice and stab it in the foot. But
The spear thrusts forward and gets stuck in the wooden knight's chest. The wooden knight responds by fiercely kicking forward, dealing 5 bludgeoning damage to Lady Holly, bringing her down to 44 points of health. The clubbed knight brings his massive wooden weapon down hard. Sir Orin takes 24 damage as the giant club slams into his chest, bringing him down to 25 points of health. The knight with the big hands runs to the side of the wall underneath Adele and starts to attempt to climb the ropes. As it runs to the wall, Sir Dane gets in its way.
16.
Miss. The knight hulks through the strike and begins to slowly make its way up the ropes, not quite keeping pace with Adele.
Zidane turns and takes 2 strikes at the knight climbing the rope. 21, 26.
2 hits.
24 damage.
Wood splinters as Sir Dane connects.
Adele finds some ropes to steady herself and draws 2 arrows, firing them downward. 29. 29.
2 hits.
16.
The 2 arrows thunk into the visor of the giant animated toy, and it slams down into the floor on its back.
On the other side of the room, against the knight with the club, Sir Orin winds up his flail again and attempts to sweep its legs out from under it. 9.
The giant toy goes down hard.
Sir Orin places his massive, booted foot on the toy's chest and swings the flail down on its head. 17.
Miss. The knight rolls out of the way, dodging the blow.
thanks for making it easy for me, Orin. And raising her spear above her head, she slams it down on the prone knight's body 3 times. 26, 18, 27.
2 hits.
For 14 damage.
The wood cracks as the spear impacts with a blast of golden light, and suddenly, little high-pitched barks and yips become audible, and 1,000 spectral puppies fly through one wall and doggy paddle across the room until disappearing through the other wall. Even the knights appear to look around in wonder, and then the puppies are gone, as fast as they came.
Oh, that's one of the nicest ones yet.
And the knight below Sir Orin tries to sweep his leg.
Oh!
17.
Sir Orin maintains his footing. The knight with the big hands quickly regains its footing and charges at Sir Dane, clapping both of its hands downward. And hits twice. Sir Dane takes 23 bludgeoning damage.
Vile toy! Sir Dane flourishes his sword and takes 2 dramatic strikes against the knight. 28, 24.
2 hits.
31 points of damage.
Describe it.
As the second strike slashes through the wooden soldier, a golden gash opens up, and suddenly that golden light envelops the entire toy. And then, an explosion, and raining down around Sir Dane are little toy army soldiers, clattering to the floor. Now you shall make a child happy!
Adele starts to draw another arrow and notices there's buttons behind her.
Roll an investigation check.
18.
You can see that several of the buttons are connected to ropes that lead to the ceiling. And up in the ceiling, there are a multitude of different objects. An enormous log, a big bucket of snow, thousands of ball bearings in a little cage. The list is endless.
That looks a little too dangerous. She knocks 2 arrows and fires. 19.
1 arrow just barely misses, impacting on the floor.
22.
Hit.
7.
The arrow chips off a piece of the toy knight's head. Poppy, getting a little curious on Adele's back, reaches a paw out and accidentally scrapes one of the buttons, pushing it in. There's a rustling up top, and the table in the middle of the room is suddenly sucked upward into the ceiling. And you realize it was connected to hair-thin strings the entire time. Food goes everywhere.
Ha ha ha!
Timber! Sir Orin brings the flail back down on the wooden knight. 19. 26.
One miss, one hit.
As the heavy stone pine cone connects with the chest of the toy, Sir Orin gives it a whip, and bright golden light shoots from his hand down into the creature, smiting it. 17 damage.
Wood splinters yet again with the impact.
Like a golfer teeing off, Holly brings her spear back and goes to town on the knight, attempting to hit it 3 times. 28, 22, 20.
3 hits.
For 22 damage.
Describe it.
On her second hit, as Holly crashes the spear into the side of the knight, it cleaves cleanly in 2.
The knight skitters across the floor a bit and changes color from a dark silver to a deep brown.
Ooh, pudding!
Upon closer investigation, the toy does appear to have become chocolate.
Holly grabs a spoon that has fallen off the table with its sudden ascent and goes over to try a bit of the chocolate.
It's delicious.
Nothing tastes better than a child's wish, really.
You suddenly hear a voice echoing from the ceiling.
Well, congratulations. However, that was not my only challenge. This next trial will test you to your very core.
Stairs suddenly pop out of the wall, spiraling upwards.
Step to the Toymaster if you dare.
I thought you said you were the Toymaker,
I am the Toymaker.
but you said master.
I'm the Master Toymaker. It's the same thing. Okay, shut up.
Looking at the stairs warily, Sir Dane puts his hand to his chest and says, "By the goodwill of men, I shall feel healthy once more!" And regains 10 hit points, bringing him back up to 36.
Sir Orin pounds his chest 3 times and does the same, healing himself for 10 hit points and bringing him back up to 35, before charging up the staircase 5 steps at a time.
Holly follows right behind him.
Adele swings from a rope and lands on the staircase.
Sir Dane takes up the rear.
The party ascends the staircase that spirals upward along the walls of the cavernous room, and they all suddenly turn into the mountainside, into the wall, the staircase suddenly tunneling through, ending the spiral. This pathway is lit by small, weak torches, and you all find yourselves in a small vestibule with 5 tunnels leading forward. As you each come to a stop in this room, the opening of every door is suddenly magically emblazoned with a symbol above it. One is a man with flowing hair. The second is a much larger man with a great big beard. One is a woman with ringlets of hair. Another is a little girl with what looks like a bow strapped to her back. And one is unmistakably a possum. The Toymaker's voice echoes once again.
This is the Toymaker's trial. Enter these tunnels 5 and try to stay alive.
So Poppy has to leave me?
There's got to be another option. We're not just going to go through some door that some weird tiny purple thing says, go through the door and die, maybe. You know, it seems a little bit weird.
But trials? Personalized for each one of us? Tempting? I mean, as first missions go, we have to be some of the most special nights of Yuletide that there have ever been. Am I right, brother, sister?
I do recall Master Titus the Brave telling me that he bested many trials such as this on his first quest.
Didn't he die trying to cross the street without looking?
Yes, but after a much storied career in questing. I say we do it. For Christmas and glory!
Orin turns to Adele.
Fine, meet you on the other side. And she throws Poppy into his tunnel.
Poppy looks at the tunnel's entrance scornfully and looks back up at Adele.
Don't be such a baby, just go.
Sir Orin stands before his tunnel entrance and readies himself before turning to each of his paladin comrades respectively.
Lady Holly?
And he clasps her forearm.
Well met. Sir Dane?
And he clasps his forearm.
Well met. For Christmas!
And Sir Orin heads into his tunnel.
Holly kind of rolls her eyes a bit. Glory's killed more people than almost anything else. And walks into her tunnel.
Sir Dane looks up at the image of himself above his door, smiles at it, shoots a look over to Adele, and points up at it. Ha! But nothing beats the real thing. You be careful in there, Adele. You might find that you come out the other end believing in the holiday spirit
Enough chatting, get in there!
Huzzah! Sir Dane charges through the door.
What's your problem? You just gonna stand there? Take my trial! Please?
Adele draws 2 arrows and exclaims, "See you on the other side, trolley!" and runs into her tunnel.
Poppy stands alone in the room, licks himself for a second, thinks very hard, and then walks into his tunnel. Sir Dane, in pitch darkness, you step forward, your footsteps reverberating off the walls. And suddenly, far in the distance, there is a glimmer of light. As you step closer and closer, the glimmer of light begins to become a bit more clearly a mirror, reflecting the light from the entrance of the tunnel back at you. As you approach closer, the mirror expands and becomes a glorious, full-sized image, and it is the best you have ever looked. Your hair is flowing in the breeze. You are wearing an enormous, long red and green cape.
Oh, wow.
Atop your head is a crown that reads Santa's favorite, and your gleaming white smile is iridescent. It only takes you a couple of moments to realize that this doesn't appear to be a reflection. There is no crown upon your head, there is no cape along your back, but your other, more glorious self meets your gaze with the same facial expression.
Well, hello, handsome.
To your left, there's a whoosh, and another mirror appears. Another perfect version of yourself. This version of yourself is in a glorious, bright gold suit of armor, and in the background is piles and piles of beautiful jewels, ornamental suit decorations, and Noel with glorious emerald braids in his hair.
There he is. I was wondering. I looked so alone in that first image.
And then whoosh to your right, another mirror. But as you turn around and look at this mirror, you see your true reflection. A bit dirty, scuffed up, your hair a little askew, and as you look closer, there is something in your teeth.
Gaze ye upon your true self. For your trial, you must admit you are not perfect, and these 2 reflections will never be yours. Ha-ha! Ugly. Ugly. Say it to your reflection!
No, Mommy always said I was a beautiful boy.
Mommy's a liar.
What?
In Lady Holly's tunnel, very quickly she comes upon a quaint wooden door.
Oh, alright, so I guess that was the end of that, and this is the exit.
The door creaks open, and Lady Holly is in a room with a crowd of 15 children with stuffed animals, toys, and candy absolutely stacked to the ceilings. They all cheer as she enters.
Everyone, it's Lady Holly and she's come to grant our wishes!
Hello there, little kids. Merry Christmas.
Lady Holly, can I go first?
Sure, little Take.
I wish for an armful of chocolate.
Lady Holly raises her spear and it brings it down hard on the ground.
And chocolate by the mound appears in the boy's hands.
Yeah!
Lady Holly, I want a big horse.
I don't think we have enough room in here, but he'll be right outside.
Please, Lady Holly, a big horse right now, right in front of me.
Lady Holly raises her spear and brings it down again.
And an enormous horse appears in the middle of the room. All of the kids gasp in delight.
Wow! Yay! Thank you, Lady Holly.
The little girl leaps up onto the horse and it begins to trot playfully around the room.
I want 1,000 marbles.
Great! And she brings down her spear once again.
And marbles flood the room.
Yeah!
And suddenly it's chaos. The horse is panicking, the kids are slipping and falling, but one of the kids has reached behind Holly and grabbed her staff.
I want knives for every finger and every toe!
Sorry?
And it happens.
For your trial, you must admit that granting wishes is stupid.
Well, these wishes, yeah. No kid would wish for 1,000 marbles. There's nowhere to put them.
My horse! These are all real children's wishes that I've recorded.
Well, of course, I'm sure. But the kids aren't. You really think I'd give a kid knives for hands? Santa appointed me to a very important mission. You don't think I'm just gonna go mess that up, did you?
Didn't you just make 1,000 ghost puppies?
Keyword ghost. They went through the thing.
And they're gone in a poof.
I learned that you destroyed a house in the town with a giant teddy bear.
Cutting to Sir Orin.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen.
The stone ground beneath Orin's feet becomes softer, and suddenly, looking down, there is just grass beneath your feet. When you look up, the cave walls have disappeared, and you are outside on a bright noon day.
Oh!
A little ways up a small grassy hill is a little house, a log cabin with smoke rising from a stone chimney. As you look, windows open up, and an old woman reaches down, wearing oven mitts, and pulls out a beautifully decorated pie, setting it on the windowsill to cool.
Your trial, Sir Orin. Don't take that pie!
Ooh, a riddle. You got this, Orin. You did major and dungeonous puzzles.
Sir Orin trods up to the windowsill and stares at the pie with a renewed intensity.
Literally, all you have to do is not eat the pie.
That is a good riddle.
Not a riddle. Just don't eat the pie.
Don't eat the pie. Yes. I believe I'm starting to get it.
Cutting to Adele. Adele, something similar happens as you walk through the tunnel. The stone ground gives way to snow. You emerge from the tunnel out onto a snowy landscape with gigantic pine trees stretching all the way up to the sky. As you walk a bit further, you see your father calling to you, holding a large axe. Come on, Adele, it's time to cut down the eldest tree in the forest for the festival. Adele? Darling, what's taking you so long?
Dad, how did you get here?
Oh, we come up here every year, of course, for the festival's tree.
But I was just... No, this can't be real. Dad, where's Mum?
Right over there.
Hello, darling. Where have you been?
I was looking for you, and you were nowhere to be found. There was a monster, and... This is a trick! Adele points her arrows at her dad.
What are you doing, Adele?
Don't trick me!
Your trial, young one. Tell your parents what you really think of the holiday season.
Adele lowers her arrows and runs as fast as she can into the forest.
You are failing the trial of the Toymaker!
Adele starts to frantically climb a tree.
Adele, wait! Adele settles high up in the tree, and we cut to Poppy, who is walking through the tunnel when suddenly he spots a massive pile of garbage. He approaches the garbage quietly, warily, sniffing it a bit. And then, something appears to his left which makes him start. It's a gigantic bathtub, filled with bubbles.
You're a possum, so I didn't really know what to do, so... Flipping a coin here if you succeed.
Poppy thinks for a moment and dives into the garbage.
Sure, that works.
Cutting back to Sir Dane, faced with 3 mirrors.
I'm crying. Why aren't those pretty versions of me crying?
Because your cry is an ugly cry.
It is. It is an ugly cry.
Well, I didn't hear you.
It is an ugly cry.
What's that?
It is an ugly cry. But, and Sir Dane goes to stare at himself crying in the mirror. But it is true. It is the truth. My other reflections aren't crying. I'm crying here, and it's because I'm sad. Why do you cry, Sir Dane?
Because you are not perfect!
No, that can't be it! Look at you! You are perfect, Sir Dane. Perfect like this! You're perfect just the way you are! So cry, you damn fool! You cry! You cry because your hair doesn't blow perfectly! You cry because there's something in your teeth and you can't get it out! No matter how hard you try so hard to get it out, but you can't, and you can't. You cry because your best friend is a horse. You cry, Sir Dane, because you're perfect on the inside, just like everybody else.
Wow, okay.
Oh, was that too much for you?
The mirrors disappear, and suddenly, Sir Dane is pulled forward.
You have passed the trial of the Toymaker!
I did it.
Lady Holly is now drowning in stuffed animals as a little boy backstrokes through them with knife toes. Several of the kids are only visible from their hands stretching out, trying to relieve themselves from the pile of stuffed creatures.
Now can you really say that wishes aren't stupid?
I admit there's a lot of collateral damage sometimes, and I'm working on it. Knife toe. Scary. But you cannot take away the hope it brings and inspires.
Then say some wishes are stupid.
Have you never had a wish? A proper wish?
Yes.
When you were a kid, what was it? What did you want more than anything in the world?
Friends.
But don't you see? You don't need me to wave a wand, to plant my spear in the ground, and to make you a friend. You're surrounded. You just have to reach out on your own.
Well, that wasn't the answer to my question. You have failed the trial of the Toymaker! But you've given me something to think about.
Suddenly, all of the stuffed animals begin to swirl around as if being sucked down a giant toilet bowl, and Lady Holly disappears underneath.
Whoa!
Cutting to Sir Orin.
Almost there. Yes, I think I've cracked it. There's a secret lever inside of this windowsill. If I can just find the combination, maybe within the bricking of this driveway.
I literally can't with you anymore. Just walk past the pie and don't eat it.
Sir Dane told me of this. It is reverse psychology. You're the baddie, so you're telling me not to eat the pie, which means you want me to eat the pie. But then, if I eat the pie, I'm doing what you want. But what do I want? What does Sir Orin want? Yes, that is the true riddle. Thank you, Toymaker. You have helped me discover the true riddle within my heart.
You have failed the trial of the Toymaker.
I didn't eat the pie!
Sir Orin is sucked up into the sky. Adele sits in a tree as her parents get to the base, calling up to her.
Adele, what is wrong?
Adele, what are you doing up there? Down at once.
Tell them, Adele.
I hate Christmas!
And why?
Because you cut down trees, you don't listen to me, and it's not fun for anyone!
You have passed the trial of the Toymaker.
The tree bends at a slant, which Adele slides down gently into another room, next to Sir Dane.
Adele, you've passed too. It got very intense for me in there.
Yeah, that was traumatizing.
Two holes suddenly open up in the ceiling, and Lady Holly and Sir Orin slam into the ground next to both of you.
My backside.
Both of you take 15 psychic damage, bringing Sir Orin to 20 points of health and Lady Holly to 29.
These trials, I believe I passed because I realized something. This Toymaker was trying to better us. But why?
Suddenly, the Toymaker descends from the ceiling from yet another rope. She wields her magic wand like a sword, pointing it at all of you.
Some of you have passed and some of you have failed, and now you will realize that the holidays are just as troublesome as any other day.
You were just trying to make us better champions for Christmas. Oh, you deserve the biggest hug of all. Sir Orin runs over and gives her a giant hug.
Scared, the Toymaker swings her mallet, thinking that Sir Orin is trying to attack her.
It does not deter Sir Orin, and he pulls her into a giant bear hug. Oh, it will not deter this hug. You have given us the greatest Christmas gift of all, new friendship.
The Toymaker, feeling the hug's warmth, suddenly begins to well up with tears.
What is this?
I think that's your first friend.
Friend?
Friend.
But I already have lots of friends. Look!
The goblin pulls another rope, and the wardrobes from the basement suddenly shoot up through the floor and display all of the villagers out for you to see.
Grumpelinus promised all of these gifts, these friends, if I help him out.
But can those friends give you hugs like these?
Make a persuasion check, Orin.
6.
You think one hug will change things?
The Toymaker struggles against Sir Orin's hug.
But Grumpelinus also promised them to us after the holidays, so he's a liar. Friends don't lie.
Make a persuasion check.
12.
The goblin relents and allows herself to be hugged a little bit tighter by Sir Orin. But she looks over at Adele, who is standing to the side.
You understand why the holidays are bad.
Yeah, but I don't think you're right. I think things are more fun with friends, and Sir Orin is one of the best friends I've ever made.
And the Toymaker begins to cry.
Yes, Toymaker. Crying is cathartic. You've made me cry buckets today, and I will never forget it. But it seems that you have passed your very own Toymaker's trial. People aren't playthings. Best you remember that.
I wish I wasn't the Toymaker anymore. I wish I was just Crumph of the Hollow Mountain.
Lady Holly delicately raises her spear and taps it down, thus granting the Toymaker's wish.
The wand lifts out of Crumph's waistband and lands deftly in Lady Holly's hand.
Your wish is my command.
Does that mean you guys are my friends now?
Of course. We're going to be stationed in that village down there for quite some time. You're more than welcome to visit us anytime you like. We've got a lovely cabin. And a man makes the best hot chocolate you've ever had.
And pie. Oh, not pie. Ha ha!
And Sir Orin gives a knowing wink to the Toymaker, even though he doesn't fully understand what he's even talking about.
Okay, I'll let you get up to Grumpelinus' fortress. But you gotta promise we stay friends.
I'll do you one better, Crumph. Pinky promise.
Crumph flinches, thinking this is another attack, but grabs onto the pinky with all 5 of her fingers and shakes it, confused.
Friendship confirmed!
Wait, where's my Poppy?
Suddenly, a hole opens up in the ceiling, and Poppy falls from the sky, landing at Adele's arms. But he is motionless.
Poppy!
He's fine. And Adele throws him at Crumph.
Poppy wakes up, reorients in the air, and stretches his arms out towards Crumph, impacting on the little goblin's chest. Poppy waits for a second, and then settles, and appears to hug the little goblin.
You smell like trash.
She waits a beat, appears to resist it for a second, and then hugs the little possum back, a great big grin creeping across her face. This has been a Hero Club production, produced by Nick Williams and George Primavera, with associate producers Marty Abby Schneider and Dylan McCullum. Voice acting by George Primavera, Nick Williams, Dylan McCullum, Hannah Fagerbakke, Natasha Krause, Jasmine Shung, and Marty Abby Schneider. Orchestral theme composed by the brilliant Matthew McCullum. Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod and Alan Gray for their incredible music, Mage Hand Press for their genius D&D 5th edition homebrew, and Marty Abby Schneider for his amazing artwork. Thanks for listening, and welcome to the club.
I shall have my revenge! I shall have my revenge! Sir, I will have my revenge! Sir, I will have my revenge!
Nailed it. That's it. That's it. You nailed it.